I started after taking communion for a while. I thought, man, what does this mean? I'm actually pretending to eat the flesh of a former living being. It kind of seemed weird to me. It may seem fine to you, but it seemed strange to me. And then to practice drinking the blood of Jesus. To me, it just had weird symbolism of being a cannibalistic. How many Christian denominations are there? 40,000, plus or minus, just a few. And in all of these different Christian denominations or sects, they all believe slightly different things. So what is the truth? Where is the truth? How about all the other sects and all the other religions of the world? Who is right and who is wrong? We're going to explore some of these things, so stick around with us, and we're going to kind of touch on each one of the religions as we move along and what they believe and what they don't believe. Just a brief introduction, and then we're going to get to some of the what I consider some of the better solutions. If we can't boil down what is true just within one particular religion, let's say Christianity, because in my opinion, you can't get to the truth with so many people fighting against each other. Their egos get involved. I am right. So if I'm right, therefore you are wrong. And I believe that there are just as many Christian denominations as there are individual Christians. And let's just take a look at some of these. There are even divisions within specific denominations. Let's take the Baptists, for instance. We're in the Bible Belt here in the South. We're in East Texas on the cusp of Louisiana. And there are Baptist churches on practically every corner all throughout the South. And of course Pentecostals and Methodists and Catholics, but predominantly Baptist. And even they have to have their own conferences to figure out what the truth is, and most of the time they never agree. And they believe primarily, like a lot of religions, that you need to become baptized. You have to sprinkle or get full immersion or poured water on and publicly pronounce that you are born again. So, and we all know in the South here at least, depending on where you are in the world, this is what a typical Baptist church looks like, and you can see them everywhere. And in saying that they have differences, you have some that are that believe there is a predisposition. Some people are going to go to heaven because they were predestined to go to heaven. And then God created a whole slew of other people that they were predestined to go to hell. I personally have a fundamental issue with that. I have a hard time believing that a God would create people just to have them burn in hell for eternity. To me, it's like a mother and father coming together and they have a child and they say, you know, before we have this kid, I already know it's going to be bad, so let's go ahead and have it so we can torture it throughout its whole life and then burn it in eternity forever. I have a hard time believing that that is the case, because the vast majority of regular old human parents are very good people. And if we are good people by nature for the most part, even though there are evil people in the world, that's for sure, we all have met them and we all have known them, I don't believe that God would say, I am creating you to burn forever. So they have those own internal fights within the Baptist community. And then some believe that it is free will. And, you know, they just continue to have a bunch of debates about a whole bunch of different subjects. I encourage you, if you have an interest, to go figure that out. And this is the picture of just a typical Baptist church. And for me, going to a whole myriad of different denominations and different religious gatherings, for me personally, I just find it a little bit boring, because you sit there and you go listen, and then you get up and you go to lunch after it's over. But that's not to say you can't get nuggets of wisdom out of that. Some people find great value in those sermons. If they do, fantastic. Good for them. If that's what they enjoy, that's what they get some spiritual learning from. And of course, this is a typical Methodist church. We have a whole variety of different architectural styles, and some of them are really pretty. As far as my favorite, just as far as the vibe, the whole energetic feel, is going to a Pentecostal church. They believe basically the same thing as a lot of other Christians, except they believe that the Spirit will fill them and then they begin to speak in tongues. Now for me, the first time I went into a Pentecostal church, there was these beautiful young, they were beautiful old ladies and they looked frail, and then as soon as the service started, they're all raising their hands and happy and smiling, and you could tell they were getting the mass energy of the group or the spirit. And just like mass psychology has proven, group psychology, crowd psychology has proven, you start to feel the energy of others, and you can see that in them, and they're just having a great time, and it's just a lot of fun. It was strange for me to see people speaking in tongues because I don't understand it and I haven't explored that. But you can go to any Pentecostal church, and typically you will see people waving and standing and kind of moving about and start bursting out in tongues. If that is what makes them feel spiritually enhanced, well, good for them. I don't think we should just automatically discount that. But one thing is for certain, this is the Vatican, and there would be no religion, or I say no religion, there would be no Christianity as we know it now without Catholicism. Catholicism is the birthplace of Christianity, the Roman Empire. And as that started to flourish and the Europeans and Western civilization started to emerge and come to America, come to Central America, South America, either you became a Christian or you died. And you either attended long church services where if you started to fall asleep, you would have a guy, several guys, walk around, and their job was to tickle you at first. Hey, you better wake up. You better pay attention. And then if you dozed off again, they'd come and stab you in the arm. And then after a few generations of that, because people's mama and daddies told them this is what you need to believe, all of a sudden it was forced onto really the globe. We have a lot of Christians in the world, which there's nothing wrong with that. Just saying that's how it started. And Catholicism took over a lot of these ancient, beautiful, spiritually holistic, Mother Earth respecting civilizations and stole that and appropriated a lot of their practices into Christianity, and then basically stole from them. And then we have Christianity. And of course there's a lot of different things about Christianity or Catholicism. They believe that you can pray to Mother Mary or saints or of course Jesus or God and the Trinity, but some other religions don't. If you want to pray to anybody and that makes you feel good, then by all means get after it. Now, one thing that the Catholics do have are some of the most beautiful churches in the world. I mean, they are just phenomenally beautiful. And this is how most people, in case you don't know, they will full immersion you in baptism as a public symbolic thing of you being born again, new, and that sort of thing. And a lot of different Christian denominations believe that it is important to symbolically eat the body of Jesus and then symbolically drink his blood. And of course, I was in a Catholic school and in a Baptist school. I grew up in a whole myriad of different religious church things. And I started after taking communion for a while. I thought, man, what does this mean? I'm actually pretending to eat the flesh of a former living being. It kind of seemed weird to me. It may seem fine to you, but it seemed strange to me. And then to practice drinking the blood of Jesus. To me, it just had weird symbolism of being a cannibalistic stuff. And so I was taken aback by that. And then moved on and found my own path. And some people can stay in that path and find spirituality for themselves. I think we all should think that's fine, as long as they don't impose and dictate how we should practice in our own individual lives and our own individual groups. And then of course most Christians really push missionary work. And to me it goes back to what we did with Catholics, or what the Catholics did to every land mass that they went to, was appropriate them. And now we did a great video a few years ago on missionary work and the harms of missionary work that most people never consider. Because what happens is we go in and make these indigenous communities dependent on missionary work. After a few generations, we change their belief system in such a way that now they are more westernized. Now they have to be dependent because we have taken away their ancient historical practices, and then within a few generations they're gone. And there's a lot more to that, and I'd invite you to go watch those other videos. And of course we get to the Jews, and they're unbeknownst to most people, there are a lot of different sects within the Jewish faith. And there are Orthodox Jews, there are the Reformist Jews, there are the Conservative Jews, and there are the Reconstructionist Jews. And inside of those, there are even different sects. A lot of people in the West don't realize that, but that is true. So just as in Christianity, with all our different belief systems within that one frame, the Jews have that as well. And of course, this is one of the Wailing Wall. If you don't know what that is, a lot of even Christians and Jews go there in Israel to pray. And one of the most beautiful architectural things is Hindu temples. They are beautiful, colorful, fantastic. And even inside Hinduism, there are many different sects. Nobody can seem to agree on what is right and what is wrong as far as their spiritual nature, what is next after this life, what is the purpose and goal of this life. There's all sorts of infighting, even within Hindus. And of course, I can't pronounce some of these words, Savavism or whatever, but I'll just let you read them. But there are so many different belief systems. And of course, even in the Buddhist tradition, the Buddhist temples, the Buddhist religion, there are also many different sects. There are these, of course I can't pronounce these either. You can read them here on the screen, and of course y'all can read them. And it's fascinating. And then we get to what in the West we say are the Muslims, which so many of us say, I say us in the West, that they are anti everything else, but that's not true. The Muslims even believe that Jesus was a prophet, and that comes from the Abrahamic religions. They tie in with Christianity and Judaism, and of course, them being Muslim. This is the Hagia Sophia in Istanbul, which is just absolutely beautiful, and it was the Rome of the East, Rome of the, was it East? Well, I forget. But that is just awesome. And I look at all of these Muslims. Can all of these Muslims be wrong too? Just like so many of the Christian sects. Who's right? Who's wrong? And then you have the Sunnis, you have the Shia. Yeah, I can't pronounce that one. Or this one. Or Sufism. But do these people look bad to you? I mean, this is a guy sitting down kneeling, and he's praying with his kid there. And they're just all having a nice, peaceful, good time. This, to me, resembles all the countless times as a practicing Catholic a long time ago, is to be able to kneel down at the pew. This is what they're doing just without the pew. They're just praying. But yet we say in the West that, oh no, they might be the enemy. They might be against us. Of course, there are radicals in every group, every religion, everywhere, and every political thought, and all sorts of things. It is really bad how we judge. And instead what we are doing, there are these divides in everything. We are dividing ourselves. We are saying, because I believe I'm right, I'm so attached to my ego, I can't come together and say, hey, maybe there are pieces of the truth with this thing. Maybe there are pieces of truth to this. Whatever resonates with me and with you. That is the whole purpose, I believe, of trying to find out who and what this life is all about without creating these divides and these separate sort of things. And one of the practices, there's a growing thing in all over the world of being a spiritualist, where they don't really subscribe to any one particular religion. They believe, which we're going to get into now, which is a lot of what we practice here. And we like to sit out in nature. We like to have bonfires. We like to communicate with each other and practice communication in such a way that we can boil down to what we believe is the truth on how to live. That is why in our podcasts and our presentations we go through so many of these varied topics on very detailed things, aspects, subject matter of our lives that help peel off these onions, peel off these layers inside of us, that we are able to see ourselves so that we can better communicate with our friends, our families, with ourselves, and communicate to the Almighty, God, the universe, Mother Earth. There's so many terms for the same thing. And we believe because we are from the earth, we are not separated from the earth. Everything that we eat, all these pods and cubicles that we're in, whether the cubicle is our house, whether it is getting from our detached from earth house to our vehicle, we're enclosed in, then we drive to here, then we get out and go inside of another detached from the earth restaurant, and then we consume what is from the earth without ever even thinking about it. We are of the earth. So for us, we like to, when the weather's good, we like to take our shoes off, walk around in the grass, commune with each other, meditate, do all of these things that we believe enhance ourselves so that we can better understand ourselves, which makes us more connected to other people and to the divine. Now, there's a couple of things with spirituality that a lot of people in the West don't know. We like to ask a lot of deep questions, and we don't mind having a little conflict because we practice the art of communication where we can boil down something to its essence. And that, to me, is a lot better than us having infighting and wars and saying, oh, well, because you are this particular religion, I hate you and we should fight and I am a warrior of God. Well, everybody in every war they believe they have God on their side. I am going to kill you in the name of God. I mean, just look what Christians have done just in believing in the Old Testament. Wow. That's a lot of brutality. Is that necessary? Is that really what God, the universe, wants us to be doing? I think we should fill ourselves and our hearts with humbleness and love and compassion and understanding so that we can have a more peaceful earth. It's not that hard if we really tried, but nobody really tries, but that's a shame. I think we're going to change that. Now, for us here in East Texas, I just love the notion of, because we have hay bales everywhere in East Texas, and well, all over Texas and Louisiana. What better place to be out and feel the wind blowing, to feel and touch the earth, to sit on a hay bale. It's a phenomenal experience. To me and to us, it's a lot better than sitting inside of a place on a hard wooden bench listening to somebody else whenever we can meditate and find the truth for ourselves. And then we can all discuss our experiences together. And part of the spirituality is a lot of breath work, which is amazing. I didn't know that was a thing until a few years ago, and wow, is it amazing. And just the art of meditation, man, it seemed like a strange notion 10 years ago, and then the more you do it, the more you start to learn yourself and understand yourself and catch yourself whenever you are doing something you shouldn't, maybe raising your voice at somebody, maybe harboring judgments or being rude to somebody. It allows self-awareness and being aware in every moment. It takes practice, it takes work. And it takes forgiveness of yourself whenever you do make mistakes. This is just some of the things of spirituality. Of course, in yoga, we are our own temple. Each individual person is their own temple. And so if we don't take care of ourselves by feeding it full of poisons, by allowing ourselves to get out of shape, we're doing a disservice and a disrespect to the vehicle that carries our life, our soul. And then what is that? What are we saying to God Himself? Oh, thanks for giving me this, but I'm going to go ahead and abuse it and be very disrespectful to myself and to you for giving it to me. Well, we like to practice something different here. And doing yoga on hay bales is not easy. I'm very impressed with this girl. And for us, at the time of death, nobody knows. Nobody knows for sure. Now, there are some near-death experiences. We just had a great presentation a few weeks ago about this. I don't know. All I can do is hear and listen to their stories of how they heard a doctor talking in another room far away about this or that, and they're addressing love. It's just fascinating. But I still don't know. Maybe they know. Good for them. One thing that I don't believe, and that we don't believe, but if other people do and it makes them happy, it makes them better people, then why not believe that that is heaven? You know, everybody has their own mansion in the sky. We did another fantastic podcast about why we think heaven is boring. It is pretty funny, especially if you're not so closed-minded and so attached to your belief system that everything makes you mad that doesn't agree with you. You probably shouldn't watch it then. But one thing is for certain. I do not believe that we're going to burn in hell forever. I don't believe that the few billion Christians in the world can tell the rest of the good Hindus, the good Buddhists, the good Muslims, all these people that, hey, because you don't have this one person, Jesus, in your life, that all of y'all are going to hell. That creates so much division, so much evil, so much animosity, so much hate, so much resentment and judgment. I think that we as individuals are better than that. I think that we're more forgiving than that. And I think nobody knows the answer. No matter if you have a close relationship you believe with Jesus or Buddha, Muhammad, whoever. We are all on this earth doing our best, most of us, trying to live the best life we can, having the best marriages we can, the best relationships with our children we can, our co-workers. That is what life is about. So thank you for joining with me. We are here every Sunday at 1:30, and at the first Sunday of every month we have a special event day. Next month is tournament day. We're having tournaments with ping pong, billiards, cornhole, tennis, pickleball, basketball, all sorts of fun things. So if you're in the local area, I encourage you to come out. It is a good, great family fun time. So thanks for being with us.